So it's no surprise that we all want to use social networks. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just after physiological needs and safety, social networking, or the sense of belonging, is just third on the list. So there are many social networking websites like MySpace and Facebook, and Twitter to some extent is a social network, and there's LinkedIn, which is a professional social network. But let's focus on Facebook, and the reason is because it's the most popular one. People use it for more social activities, not just for business. And also they're approaching 500 million users. That's a huge chunk of the world's population. Now, the problem with Facebook is that every so often they change the way that information flows around. Users don't really understand anymore, okay, who can actually see my information right now? So while you can go and change these settings back to lockdown mode, where you only share it with your friends and so on, by default, it's available to everybody. And a lot of people don't change their settings. So what's the first thing we need to do? Well, the first thing you need to do is pick a good password. When I first started using Facebook, I didn't really care that much about Facebook, and I picked a really weak password. And then, a year or so later, you realize, oh my goodness, there's so much important information here. So pick a good password. You do want to familiarize yourself with your privacy settings on Facebook. And as we heard, Facebook changes the way they share information every once in a while. And so every time they do that, you want to go back to your privacy settings, see what new settings they've introduced, and lock down again. Don't be too lax about whom you friend, right? So I hear about stories where people go to parties, they talk to somebody for 2 minutes, and then they add them as a friend, a Facebook friend, the next day. And the problem here is that you have all this private information, and employers and insurance agencies are actually checking out Facebook profiles when they can. So, if you want to be careful, for your next prospective employer, or buying health insurance, for example, you might want to take that into account, that, there are these people who you friended who can see all your information, and they might be working at these companies. There's no concrete do or don't related to posting different pieces of information. But if you want to share your birth date, for example, you want to think about, when you call up credit card companies and banks, sometimes on the phone they ask you, sir, to verify your identity, could you tell me your full birth date? Well, now you've made this information potentially available to all kinds of identity thieves, right? Another interesting piece of information, people love to share, here's where I am, here's where I'm going. There are services that help you advertise what flight you're taking and what part of the country you're in. And that's exciting, and a lot of people do use that. But you want to think about, what about the people looking at this and say, oh, okay, this is a great time to go and burglarize their home. In summary, Facebook is a great technology. Social networking is something that we all need, in a sense, in today's world. And so do continue to share interesting information with your friends and family and your extended social network. But as we heard, in this video, just be careful with what you share. Just exercise good judgment and think twice before you post anything. If you want more information on this or other security topics, you can visit our website at securitymatters.iu.edu.